Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Watercolor Instructions with me. Today I'm going to do another cityscape. So this is a painting I saw a while ago by a South American artist. His name is Pito Campos, P-I-T-O Campos, C-A-M-P-O-S. So he did this painting a while ago. Obviously he's a master at what he does. I'm going to try to recreate that small painting. So if you're new to my channel, consider subscribing and hit that like button. So I generally start with a value sketch. This is a small piece of paper. There's two reasons why I do a value sketch. One, to understand the composition, and then also I try to figure out what colors and other things while I'm trying to do this one. So the materials and the paper, this is a Saunders paper. And the materials and the brushes I use, I usually put a couple of slides in the end. Scroll down if you want to know what colors and pigments I use. So it's a portrait mode. So I'm going to just do a building on the side. There's a building on the other side, a little more details. And then there's some umbrellas. There's a building, and then there's the island, basically. Also, there are a few people sitting on the table. And I'm using that as a direction of the shadow. And also there's a tree. Maybe a little bit of clouds. But that's roughly is my composition. So I'm just cleaning up the paper to get the colors. So a little bit of gray. Oh, that's a bit too green. Maybe a red tree. And I'm going to add a little more details to that building. Not to mention the shadows. And something in that a little darker. So maybe on that idea. So this is a rough water sketch I'm planning to do. Let's see how I put on the actual paper. So to continue out of the value sketch, So we look at, so that's a value sketch for me, that's for my reference. So I'm going to do something. The thing about drawing is you want to put in a little bit of shape first and then add the details. So I'm just blocking in some shapes very loosely. So that's enough for me to know that's the sort of details I'm looking at. And then maybe I'll add a banner here, and then that line is, I'll add a couple of umbrella. So just behind that, maybe there's a couple of arches, and then we're looking about that height. So maybe I will start. And then let's put a few people sitting down. Sitting down, a couple, maybe a waiter, and a couple of slightly people in the front, and obviously all the shadows. I'm going to try putting it in that direction. Okay, I gotta keep checking if the video is recording because I've lost a couple of times already. So there's a little bit of name, that's what's going on, and I'm going to add a few more people. In the background, I think that's enough people. Maybe I'll add one more. Should be plenty, and also we're looking at maybe I'll add some features, some details. There's a building, and then let's put a tree. Okay, so that's roughly my sketch. I'm happy with it. Okay, that's just to give me perspective. So obviously a little bit of gray. I'm not particular about, I'm just picking up some gray colors. Maybe I'll throw in a little bit of blue. There's a piece of hair stuck here, which I can't seem to get. All right. So they're a little dark than what I thought, but should be okay. I'm gonna just wash. I'm gonna just take a little bit of color out because I feel it's a bit dark. As long as it's wet, you can take a little bit of color. Yeah, that's fine. Maybe I'll add a couple of colors. All right. So that's the first step. I'll put in a little bit of yellow ochre. For the building in the background, paying attention not to leave the whites of the umbrella. Okay, Okay, and I have one. I'm going to just do a shade of gray. And I'm going to start till here. Maybe I'll come in with a logo. Okay, so with the smaller brush, I'm just going to soak up okay, so that's where we are, and I'm going to just use a small mop here. I've got a few smaller mops. I'm just going to pick up slightly darker for sure browns. A little bit of blues. Probably a synthetic brush is in order. I don't want to. So a little bit of lavender. I'm just trying to mix in the first layer. I'm going to leave some few gaps, add a little more color to it, and then I'm slowly building sort of a story, making it a little more cooler here. Sorry, getting a little dry. I'm going to quickly work through that. Okay, that's fine. So I'm going to continue, maybe a little bit of yellow ochre. Yep. Just clean out the palette. I'm going to come in, add another darker shade once. Okay, so that okay, that's fine. Okay, so it requires a little bit of drawing. Okay, so let's work on this particular building, and then we can go from there. So a small mop, looks like there's a little bit of green in that. I'm going to just wash it. I'm going to take a little bit of, make it a little bit of cool gray. Check that, that seems to be all right. So So some sort of features while I'm doing that. Also, I want to just add a couple more longer features. Okay, all right, carrying on. Okay, so I have a little bit of tissue, making sure some so probably so I'm just giving some European look. There's nothing particular about it. Okay. And a little bit of shadow. Okay. Okay. That should be enough for that one. Maybe I'll add a little more darker undertones here. There's a little bit of shadow going on. Okay, let's do the other building. For no particular reason, I'm going to do that one. Do a little more gray. A little lighter. Add a few details. And I continue with a little more. Okay, so a couple more features. Maybe. Okay, and okay, now no mucking about, just a bright red tree. So paying a little attention, making sure I don't so coming over here, a little more water. I'm gonna just try to drag that. Maybe it's time to switch the brush. So I'm just trying to create some atmosphere. Making it a little more cooler. And let it wash. I'm going to just spray a little bit of water so that it does its thing. Let it dribble down a little bit. Okay. Let it do its thing. Okay. Okay, while that is going on, I'm just gonna add a little more shadows and other things in the foreground. Probably not, it's still a little wet. I will make the foreground a little darker. A little more blue. Okay, and maybe a little texture. Just to add a little texture. Okay, I think that one is ripe for me to add a little more. Okay, that's dark enough. I'm gonna come in. So that particular angle, so we are doing there you have it. So okay, and then maybe a couple of lines. Okay, that's about that one. So I'm going to start building the characters now. Okay, so maybe a couple of So that's fine. Now let's start adding with a little bit too much water. I'm just going to start playing with a little bit of different colors. Okay. Same thing. Okay, so adding a little more people. Let's do purple. Okay. Okay, so that is enough. I'm going to just add a little shadow. And a little bit of text. Okay, let me dry and then see how I feel about it. So this guy doesn't have a like. Okay, so the last bit is a little natural white. Fresh out of the tube, apply it so that there's a reflection. Okay, so that's about the details. We'll just add a few more details here and there. I think that should do. Okay, I hope you enjoyed. Consider liking and subscribing, help me out. And then till next time, keep watercoloring and then have a nice day. So why don't I just unveil it so that way you can see how it looks. Is it still on focus? So big reveal. And there you have it. So watercolor. Till next time. Bye.